Bachelor na vhuḓi vho ṱanganedzwa kha mbekanyamushumo wa shift dzina ndi fika mupombe ndi tshi maphupheza uri vha khou ḓo itakala nga maanḓa show yashu ya namusi ke Easter Monday. We are not live because obviously I got it.
Yeah,
I get a holiday.
Alright, me amkele ka nongonongo ya ina shift ngwana re shukere bo leng gona ke ya go leboga re ditse fase gona re tlo shifta ga botse re shifta ka mo gorena kana ka gona ithi into mtsa seka into bana tjonga ga ba business ne kuhlalen phansi sizo ishiftan sonke ingqondo le icinge different kaloku ubana sibe nentoni nekamva elihle singabe ime lapha eMzantsi Afrika ijo into asikho live ke kodwa ngelisha ke akazitsale lo mnqombe but because sifumana ke kuzo zonke platforms kuzo macala mntazi social media shift on SABC1
at shift on SABC1 ke Facebook le Twitter ka re abuta rona boletse gore we are not live so al khone gore le ka re founela empa ka na re botsa gore ne Easter ga we celebrate le jong and then ha re boya because are you live then tebe re bo mong mamtla ga re tabela bolela ka a very important topic ra tsa gore bontsi ba rena ge re fetsa go ra bana rena le mosebetso ka ra go ntate go ntlong wa sebetsa le mme go ntlong ba sebetsa gona motho le gore aka khona go sala le ngwana we nna britsa bana go crèche re tshepa gore obviously bana ba le go crèche ba protected ba jotse healthy ka tse go hetebe re bua ka childhood program development le gore di thusa bana gore wena ga o le go mosebetsing o tla jang gore ngwana go o safe because sometimes o kora gore ha o be mosebetsing ngwana man lengena le one cell shot gore ngwana se tlhaka sa le o mkenyetse di khimbi tse itiretse ha bo ile one yana
ba re se horrific stories
bo mistress ba shapang bana
ba abusang bana and that's very sad
I get ba rasa utwa mshapa ngwana
man there's a difference between go shapa ngwana because of discipline and go shapa ngwana because of abuse
so fa molaya
and I'm traumatized bana bao
yeah ke topic e leng gore re bolela ka yona mamotla mollanong la rona
otherwise kwa nguke mntase basishekisho ba ndona e wonderful what's on your mind.
Alright, what's on your mind? That's gore ke mo ile gore na le wena revelation ka le tswele gore di experience le maybe ile gore o shile ke taxi le namporenshi ya today. Story of my life.
Wena go butse gore ke re ya monna o nyalwe o be le koloi.
So aksanya lenga se be le koloi. Is that what you saying about rona?
Ah, o say gore ke koloi ya kere.
Okay.
E bone go ithekela ya gago.
Alright.
Mara go mane monna wa nyeje go easy. Bona gona le Facebook mone. This is very interesting. Balesa Shaz Mujao. I have a problem with you shift presenters. Don't get me wrong, I do admire you and you really inspire me, but you don't read our Facebook comments. You are always concentrating on tweets on Twitter. Sometimes I'd want to raise a point, but I say to myself, why do I even bother? Please guys, I'm a big fan of shift. Please try to fix this. Hashtag consent. Don't go.
Mamen. Twitter. I make sure I read Facebook more than Twitter.
They fully Facebook, now it's fully Facebook. I
promise at least for the next 2 weeks, we'll Facebook more than Twitter.
Sensory balance.
Right.
Sensory balance too. Okay. And also, I can open up Facebook. I want a paragraph call. Yeah. The second is good TV. So long. All right, my email guys. It high shifters is Luandi Saluke Zimsengana. Here, I recently got married traditionally. I'm proud to say, process your water. They named me Noluto. Had to fetch water from the river, make fire outside for the first time in my life. That was really fantastic. Shout out to my husband, Msanzi. So chancha.
When I get married, I'm sorry. I'm still single, but when I get married, I go back to the busy.
Cameraman ole kamera camera ba reng ke KB.
That's why kita no weave. I never. It won't happen. I couple resena contract gore re busana ka tabe gore na ke lugametse. Not in a bad way, guys. I'm joking. All right, mranga papa tshotla pele re bula ka a very interesting topic. Re tla be re bula ka gore what's the right age ya gore ngwana a go crèche se shoot.
I think kids must go to crèche in the age of 2 years. Because sometimes tina parents isasebenza. So i-crèche ila ku safe khona bakhona khona ukuthi babhekelele abantwana bethu sibathole khona be safe.
Rekade ba batangana zakambekanya mishumo ya shift ngwana go shiko gamogela gape go shift. Today re bolla ka early childhood development because ra tseba re bokamoso bya setšhaba bokamoso bya naga bo matsogong a baswa re a itseba nto bjale se botlhoko go gore bana ba rena ba banyane especially ba under 3 years ba thoma di crèches nenneng go betsa crèche na gongwe bile se registered go ba crèche na gongwe go na le matshelo ba ba trainiwa go tlhokomela bana and then we hear a lot of stories gore batho ba ba abuse bana ba batho ke lo xesha ona xesha wena o ya msebenzini kufanele umntana anakekele omunye umuntu so sisela kanti namhlanje bana xa ngaba mhlawumbi unomntana unobhabha usane oluncinci apha endlini umqala nini umse-crèche and ubona kanjani i-crèche uba i-crèche erayithi isemthethweni and uba bathe barejistarishe phi yintoni kufuneka uyibonile yintoni kufuneka uzitshekishe uthikishe before umntana azongena kuleyo crèche. So ndabo apha bazawungena bazakunceda into yobana sithetha njani na nabantwana nootishara aba funeka banakele abantwana bethu abancinci. Okokuqala ke from the lottery board methabang le kae hayi kitla le ska sa ba dimpere di gokile. Okay, Mempo. Ali ka dile fase mama. Le kae mama? Ya phela ra la mogela le rena Thando. Alright papa.
Right son.
Di grand akondo.
Enkosi.
Enkosi nawe. Mesina. Le kae? Good, thanks. Mempo again. Shabam for double. Lejap. Kesha. Ungahlala la? Or ufuna uhlala le? Okay, hlala ngapha ke.
Methabang a re ke qale ka wena ha re bua ka early childhood development re bua ka eng?
Re bua ka hore re hlokomela bana jwang who are between ages, others say from 2 to just before they start school to 5. Re bua ka bana bao hore what is it that is supposed to be done for them hore le bona ba tla ba khole ebe batho setjhabeng. People who have done research in early childhood development ba bua hore bana at that level have to be nurtured, have to be groomed, have to be taught all the good things or later in life when they start school they shouldn't have a problem with many things. Remember, that's the time where things like cognitive ability gets to be developed, and hence it is important for children to be sent to early childhood development centers. So I must just tell you that I don't work for one. I work for the National Lotteries Board, and we're funding, amongst other things,
Different initiatives, yeah.
initiatives like those.
Okay, another thing, like children, membership is maybe from the age of 2 until 5 before one year school. Babang abatsipi.
Yeah.
Understand? Like we got the creature about 3 months away.
Yeah.
But anyway, before the applicant topic, ribbon. Habla got to have numbers.
The right age of the crash can be early as one because some milestones are fun, and the earlier you crash, the more abani mfundo ening.
Like it's only important to go to a crash at the age of 3 because usakula, and then that's when I took mine.
I think it's understand because I crash with 6 months because of home savings.
I don't think umtana anga crash. I think umtana mela school at the age of 2 because what they do at crash in umtana zomienza yona engine because bayalala bayavuka bayadla. So at least eskolweni from grade 1 bayabafundisa ubambi boy pen, bayabafundisa ukubhala ngama-crayon.
I think as soon as like maybe a year old.
From 4 years. Right, because look, I rent songo. I get feel free. Me na kungwana mina abari crash ngazute kuri indloai. So 4 years ngabar sharp.
I think umntana mela a crash by 4 years.
And you learn to bonanje because abantu abaninzi ba confused abayazi ba umntana kufuneka aye nini abanye bathi 1 abanye bathi 4 abanye bathi ngamna ndi consent ngomntana nami zabane wari mhlambe 4 xa sikwazi ngathi uyathetha uzawubuya athi yonga umem uyandibetha phaa esikolweni because uyakwazi uthetha at least at 4 but ke siyazi ba importance yomntana kufuneka develop esencinci so that xa ekhula ngabi ne problems especially like eqala esikolweni abe senazi i-basics na I would love umntana nami because ubhale igama lakhe na 2 at least from 2 years. You know?
Yeah.
That's what's cool. Mempone, what is the right age? I know what you said maybe by year, but but some people take their kids at 3 months even. Or is it a different situation?
No. Kinagana gore ngwana o swanetse a ye sekolong as early as maybe 4 months.
4 months.
I get 3 months right gore ngwana o sa dependile ga go le go immune wa gagwe a dule le yona ke nagana ibile gore ntho e dira ka baka la gore a kere that's why ba file maternity leave gore e tsamaye until 4 months
Okay.
Only like 3 to 4 months. Yeah. ba direla gore ngwana a gole immune ya gage e tsebe go ikemela and then from 4 months go ya kwa ngwana a ka ya ECD side ka baka la gore the earlier the better ngwana ge ile gore o na le disability or whatever gona go pick up and then ngwana a gone go thushwa ka pela unlike gore o tlo mo thomisha lata go ja le gore it's now late
fela ngwana ga ya ECD senteng ana le 4 months o nyanya neng
go nyanya a ke re go na le di option motswadi wa gagwe wa tseba go mochella ka re ga lebetlele
okay
and then re na le di fridge go di crashe ya di fitla re di beya ka di fridge and then ra di futhumatša ra fa ngwana
so mapetolo a ne maina
Ana
ka
le
re tlo
maina.
go ngwana ga ka mo a eno masia ga mpho
awa
ka re le bula fridge ra la tite to understand
ana a ba le mabitso
okay
ga botsebotse re ba le dilo tse re di beyang go tšele go dingwa di le mabitso a bana a ke re age ya especially a baby class teacher ratio ke 1:6 wa bona gore bana ba go ba banyane jwale go easy gore o ka kgona go ba tlhokomela gore go ba manager
Mesina a re bue ka wena o na le crèche o na crèche o itlele jwang
Crèche ya rona e startile in 1999 and then it was registered in 2001 in the Ikemezi. We registered le social development and health department. So it was started out of our funds, not from the help of donors or any institution. Up until it developed and we follow the procedure and we tried by all means to comply. So we are a complying ECD in Mamelodi based on informal settlement, Mandela Village, where we're trying to help those kids not to be laundering on the street. Laundering meaning bana ba tletse strata all over and stop the abuse ya bana. Gore motshiaro gore bo malume ba tshwara bana or private parts or anywhere else. Yes.
Mara Sina, why crash? Why is Willa boutique for Mamelodi?
I can say I'm passionate about children. Before I took over the crèche, because it's started mama le papa. I was a teacher teaching grade R. Then for 5 years at Moretili Primary School. Then I realized I worked for a private company, but it didn't work for me because my calling is working with kids. When I work with kids in Gabulela for the whole day and not stopping, I enjoy. That's my job.
Every day.
I've got 4 kids. So I enjoy kids.
Wow, that's very special. Keep calling, sharp.
Yeah, it's not about no, it's about you give yourself. You love children, and if osabarati, then you'll have a problem.
Manage.
Nice was me but not more than
and even have a cat about the Bolela Clar. Born. You love fast.
o tsebela ka gore ngwana ha le ko crèche at least bo mistress o protected ha na le bona ke tse fengelo tse ileng gore check.
I think as you enter a crèche, there's so many things that a parent need to look at. And one of the things, like Christina was mentioning, registration is very, very important. And usually in offices, any office, where you enter a crèche, you find registration certificates, and they're registered as an NPO, first and foremost, but also they register as in a social development to register their program.
But register as the NPO, not the NGO, ne? Don't make look up.
The NPO, NGO, same thing. Non-government organization, non-profit organization. Yeah, same thing.
Yes, why ngibuza ngendaba ukuthi ucheka kanjani ukuthi le crèche right because abanye abazali bayahambisa umntwana e-crèche but ubheka imali ukuthi ayi kule crèche kasina babhatala 350, that's a lot of money. Kule crèche kakamusi bhatala 120, mina ngizomisa lapho. Akena ndaba ne-health yomntwana ukuthi kwenzakalani.
Yazi, I think into ebalulekile ukugqitha everything. Xa ufika crèche, you should see. I mean, there are so many kids overcrowding in one space. That should tell you that there's no learning, there's no teaching happening. You know, because there are simple things. You uzobona izitulo netafile, the toys in the classroom. And you also need to give yourself time before you place your child in the creche. You go and visit the creche itself. You know, they need to take you through. This is how we cook the children. This is where we store our podlela. This is our fridges, you know. This is our menu. And the menu, as per requirements, needs to be a 2 weeks menu in terms of different varieties of food that is offered, and also different consistencies. Because you're looking at children, from babies to older children. So babies don't eat solid. They eat soft food. So those kind of consistencies you need to check in the menu. Also, when you bring your child, you need to say upfront allergies and so forth. So how do you manage those kind of allergies? And it's just simple things. I mean, in the building when we entered, we saw a first aid kit box. Those are the things that you need to look at. What are they there? Is the building safe? You know, especially when you go to creches in town, you find a creche with 3rd floor, 4th floor. If there's such a low building, what's going to happen to those children? You and it's a hazard. You know, those are the things that you need to look at. But parents, because of the desperation, because I need to go to work, I don't have anybody to take care of my children. My mom will say Eastern Cape, and also
Azumbo, when you decided to go to creche?
I decided 1 year, 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is when I saw ukuthi sekakhulile fanele afunde fanele kube nezinto azifundayo ngoba if angakhula aba maybe 2 3 4 anyeke asakwazi ukubamba yabona umntana easy makasisemncane ukuthi afunde.
So 1 year 8 months this got to be ekhula from 0 to 1 year 8 months ubekanela ubani?
Okay, ngiyena emsebenzini after ana 4 months mara bekunosisi asala naye. So ngabona ukuthi angithusala naye nje. Yamnakekela mara ukufunda kafundi. So ngabona ukuthi we important ukuthi fanele manje aqala icreche.
Papano like abuta rona so papano ke eng go se ngwana ga o le mamokwena cause tsa gore a setse le mamokwena ko ntlung o iwane ha ona gore mamokwena o setse le bana ba 5 le ya creche king difference mo cause I know maybe kra gore ko creching memo iwane ene ona le bana ba 10 ba ile gore ba under 3 years and phela ratsa gore bana ba under 3 ba tshwarisana tlhogo.
Sure. It's a tough one. Difference between Mema Mukwena o tla tlhokomela bana, I take it to tleba godisitse bana ba bangata. But the difference about early childhood development centers and ke rata ka mogo le constitutive panel. I think people in urban areas are exposed to all these things and they are at an advantage. If we want to develop our country, we need to start focusing on batho bao ba ba leng ko magaeng, and I'm proud of the initiative. Yeah, Mpoko Mamelodi, she has explained to her this is happening in an informal settlement. We still to see people babatswang from very disadvantaged communities, look at the rural areas. So this issue, yeah, Mamukwena tlabenga tlhokometse bana. I can relate that to what happens in those rural areas and rural areas kumagaeng a borena. Ke mo re tlhokang go develop teng. Ngwana o tshwanetse go developiwa before a fitla skolo. That is such a good investment because at the age e batlileng go simolla sekolo ba setse ba itse gore what is expected from them. Ha ba simolle ba tshuswa ke mistress ke teacher ba tshuswa ke dilo tse ba di bona. So go na le research entsweng indicating gore actually children from those disadvantaged communities are having a difficulty. Later, Ribona effect, the results matric, for instance. They will tell you in certain areas, Bana Bango, Ziba 100, there isn't even one who managed to pass. The problem didn't start at high school. It didn't start at secondary school or at the time when they were starting school. It started fatsi. So even recently, Department of Statistics came up with this information that South Africans should stand up and make sure that throughout the country we work hard to support early childhood development centers. And for the National Lotteries Board, we've been focusing on actually funding you know, ECDs in those disadvantaged communities. And that funding, you know, goes across. It won't be about just getting teachers. Let's say organize it under a tree or montlung enyan facilities. So we're funding infrastructure. We're trying to make sure that in those areas, proper ECDs are actually built, they are properly resourced. Professionals, if they're not professionals, they will be empowered. We get appropriate toys on the same level urban areas.
Let's say, for instance, somebody on your crash, like maybe in the case of Messina, so in a rural area, so somebody went to my crash. Some of Bumebarona have the kind of information and knowledge of okay, how do they get access to National Lotteries Board and criteria giving?
Remember, it's not our mandate as a National Lotteries Board. We are trying to fill this gap. Social development is the actual department. And I think our other sister, you have to register. How register? They take care of you. They make sure that you are trained. They equip you with knowledge. So Runa, we go out. We have received lots of applications because we had a targeted call for early childhood development centers. In the application, besides the structure that has to be put up, have these people looked into Dilotaure because you know because you don't take a baby at 4 months was that muruta a e I o u. One, two, three. Are we ready, Lotseo? So we do have people Baba Ilongore Bakupa Chelete just with the purpose of developing our ECD teachers, equip information. And thank you for raising this issue, because as we'll be looking at where we allocate money for the building of those ECDs, we'll be looking into the issue you're training, people are properly empowered in those communities.
Just to add, I'm from the National Development Agency. Same as the Lotteries Board, we do give funding, grant funding to early childhood development centers, and we also look at vulnerable groups in terms of centers for children with disabilities or centers that are in communities that are disadvantaged. But mostly when you look at urban areas, you find ECD centers. But in our rural areas, like Usicholando Kamamkwen, you understand, it's just a mother or and those we call non-center based ECDs. And that's where funding is going to us in terms of social development as well. And then they are allowed to come to social development and say, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing. And then they're given a period of a year to get themselves right to register.
Social development office. Deep rural somewhere. Department of Social we are
your local offices is like you find in the main towns, but also your local government structures. So that's where you go. Those are the routes that you use. But also NDA has provincial offices, and also that's where you would go. But within communities, there's always information that is shared, and people would know what to access and when.
Alright, I'm sure you'll like a or feeling on our separate, but pass a registering, but register.
register comply.
After break. Alright, Rubusha poll question. Do you think it is important for a child to go to crèche when they are under the age of 3 years? No, shift on SABC 1. Papa Torjola Pele like a crèche and Libana Belore. But Trita Juan Habako crèche and one hour shooting in. Go everything one hour we are shooting in a one. But Mrs. Barai, who Honalungan by Mizang Tanner, Honalungan by Mizang Kaman, one would swing and one hour stood and also look for a Rekamu Tusa Juan.
the benefits of going to crash, I think it's getting used to the being around the area ya Urutwa. Yes, I think that's the benefit. So society tells, but now ke won't the benefits, because when you go to school, they just give you and you just adapt. So for now, I don't see the benefits.
The benefits for a child to go a crash is to be able to how to write, because that's where they start, to speak English.
Baba quick mentally, they get to understand quick izinto yabo ne vocabulary yabo like here sweet.
Benefits of something crash early, start working early. They can sing in a group early, but can socialize and at an early stage, and baba more advanced kwezinye izinto.
Ukhona ukufunda izinto eziningi, basheshe bayamkhiphe enapkinini alokuqala, and then uyashesha nokukhuluma, uyashesha nokujwayela abantu.
There are no benefits because umntana uye crash maka ubuya usasenjalo sasenamafinyela sometimes abamtshintshanga ikhimbisi.
The benefits are ngwana crash ikoro ngwana ba welcome da salumunyana a fitla sekolo ngasa hlola a se go ditsa tse bantho tse ngata.
Ratswara le rona ka no kwere go la senenneng na le ba khotsi le lo ra ba tsere maina bona ka mafeng a le go a le tswelo o boledishana no ra ta na so kufune kuna naye esikolweni ke esana mhlambe ko 1 year bathi abanye thoka from 4 months yakwazi bamntana afike pha i-development yakhe yakwazi ukuthi by the time aqala isikolo uyakwazi ba akwazi usebenza nabanye abantwana akwazi udevelopa kahle akwazi ukufunda kahle akwazi ubhala, and then asizukhala ne-problem ke yabantu abajona ku-matric grade 12 basiba isikolo sonke 100% bajone mntazikanye. Alright, we not live, so akwazi usifonela ke but wakhona rukhumana mo SMS 33720 or ku-email ke shift@sabc.co.za or ku-social media le gona ka mokare rona re tsona shift on SABC bana ke re phone ya go tseba sekgwa ke ya tseba le re go botšiša po question gona, do you think wena ngwana santse a Christian na ana le mengwaga ya under 3 years na
Mampo, nako rile ko breaking no bua ka gore re sa bua ka gore bo mistress bankela bana mangene, which is true. Sometimes o kra gore ngwana o mlata ko crèche man o na le mabadi bada o tsikeng ha ya ko crèche bo tsore no na dlala rafu le bana ba bang.
Nna ntho ke nyaka go itlhalosa ke iteng le ska lebella fela di negative things tse di diragalang go crèche ko crècheng bana ba khwetsa di ba go diragala lo tse dintsi wa tsa go ka tšea ntho e tshweu wa e bea kwa wa go tšea bjale o se sa bona di-dots tse di leng gona ga ba re o bonang wena o bona dots e le ntsho bošweu bola ba lešila le legolo a o le bone go na dilo tše dingwe ntle le ewe ya gago ya go latlhegela ke mangwene le go discrasha leng ngwana wa developa ko crasheng and go ka tšea ngwana wa leng ko crasheng wa tšea le ngwana fela wa tlhokometseng o botsisitše potšišo ka mamokwena mamokwena o tlogela ngwana o tlo mo lebelela yena fela o tlo mo supervisor fela mara ko crasheng rena re developa ngwana, that's why ngwana gona e le gore o tlo go tšea le gore o developa ka speed go feta wa leng ko gae and re lebeletše di-milestone tša gage re lebeletše dilo tšeo ka moka ga tsone.
What's why ne kusa question? The reason why ke busa question is how highly tabeng ya jole gore ngwana o thola gore se tsumisa go crèche after go gate ngwana wala because of memo mo shapa re etsanga go le jalo.
As in it's not always a go le go usual.
Hey, wa protect mo member.
I'm not thinking some camera this generalize.
We are not, but okay.
Hey, ngwana na go ngwa akalla e seng gore o lisha go gore o ya crèche wena o rile ga tloga gae o motlwaeditse gore ngwana mfallekere today a swa mrekela lekere jwale a ya kwa crèche wa bona gore ene ge ke tsena ka mo a ke re crèche jwale re jwale dijo tse di loketseng mmele re ka se mo fellekere every day wa tsebo re ge ke tsena ka mo gore a re lekere a le sego jwale wa lla wena o nagane ka re maybe ka baka la gore o pushwa botlhoko ka gare ngwana nngwe nako nngwe ke nnete ke ka baka la gore o kushwa botlhoko ka gare gore ga a swariwe ga botse mara a se ka nako ka moka mo e le goreng e dula e le ka tsela eo
yabantwana bakhale like e-gating so abana nako nngwe ba lisa ke nako nngwe rena batswadi ra ba tseya a re ya ko Christian mema yo betha se ke re nna ya bese umntana mafike e-gating vela uyazi ukuthi umeme uyongishaya umama mntu uyongishaya umeme vela uzongishaya.
Okay,
so uyakhala umntana makafika la e-gating
ngesikhathi usumntana akho esikoleni nge 1 year 8 months ne bungekho worried
bengiworried mara bengingananto engingayenza ngoba fanele ngiyemsebenzini uba worried ngoba vela zikhona izinto ezenzekalayo ecrash eziningi ukuthi umntana ukukhohlela uyohlangana nabanye abantwana uzogula this and that yabo ziningi
wayekhetha kanjani icrash
icrash sale umakhelwane wami bekayisa umntwana khona so icrash leyo ngayithanda ngoba nomntana lo ngambona the way akhula ngakhona noma abuye esikoleni uyakwazi ukuthi uyacula lezi zinto bebazenza esikoleni uyakwazi ukuthandaza ngikhuluma nje wami khona manje uyakwazi kuyenza our father acting
wenze our father wonke that's sweet but can I tell you four manje mos
yeah khona I 10 or 4
wena kama our father uthibile nani mwela mke
khona grade 7
no bengibuya la ku indaba yokuthi abantwana if they are not happy sometimes to come into the crèche, we as the principals, the founders of the crèche or whoever is in the management, we must always try to support our staff. Because sometimes uthisha ukuze abe kanjalo ebantwaneni maybe una personal problems. You understand? And then akakhona ukudila nezinkinga zakhe. Once abasebantwaneni uyazi extenda, uyazidlulisela ebantwaneni ukuthi the anger, yes. So we must always try ukuthi sibe na fun things esizenzayo in our centers with the staff only, because the happy the staff, the happy the children.
Sometimes uthola ukuthi ecrash uyamrobha ngemali ukuthi uyikhiphela kulabantwana ne
Marakam une controversy abasenza noma crash sesowethu Thando sithethe ngendaba ye compliance nento bana kufuneka uregistration njengoba usine register ne difuna siyenza sisi explain I process bayisebenza njani yonke, because somebody uyathanda abantwana ufuna uqala icrash but akayazi ba uthini uqala xa registration ithini
into ithi kaloku xa ufika kweza office zakho social development uyayinikwa yonke information ukuthi ufuneke wenze ntoni. Like I said, first and foremost, register as an NPO gives you access to funding. Social development gives subsidies ebantwaneni ezicrash. I'm just not too sure, but I think it's 15 rands per child per day. I stand to be corrected. And 15, okay. That money goes towards to buy resources, a creche, and then 50% of that money will help you in terms of also managing the creche itself, in terms of batala your electricity, amanzi, and your bills, your administrative bills. So, because if 15 rands per day per child, and you have 30 or 40, it
15 rand or 50 rand?
15
rand per child per day.
Per child per day.
That's a lot.
I'm manga. Because like uthenga ntoni 15 rand wena nje umdala 15 rand per day is
that money is not meant to pay salaries or anything. Yokuthenga ukutya kwabantwana. And indlela ekuncedwa ngayo there's a whole maybe we should just get on to a social development to come and explain. But the subsidy itself, it's meant for buying food for abantwana, and it's meant
no, but anyway, I think must crashing because like Usijo Thando is subsidy. That's why Msanzi is.
But there's also other initiatives, the National Lottery Board. You know, there's also us as the NGA. We can come in hand in terms of helping you eat toys. You know, the things that you need, like vital things that you need. Your outdoor equipment, your jungle gyms, and you go into the classroom, the toys that you need, so that you are able to stimulate abantwana njengoma message. Exactly.
Okay. Cela ugu help or ugu eda kulento le usisithando bekayisho. Mawufuna uku register, ufuna unyaka kuba li ECD. Re khopela gore la mathomo at least motho a be le level 4 or level 4 ya ECD. Or at least abele matric. I tutela gore o swara bana. Abele qualification. And then hona le ntho ba re ke zoning gone jwale. Before aka dira eng a tsebe gore pleke e anyakang go dira go yona crash. E loketse na ka ba ka la ra ke gona le di pleke tse ba reng ke industrial mo ile gore go ka di bula crash mowe e tlo go batsa bana. Jwale a ye go town planning ya pleke ya gagwe gore nna ke nyaka go bula crash mo. Pleke e right na. and then ga feditse go diadlo tšeue ga feditse ka town planning go la gore jale a ka ya go social development a ke re jale kgweditse tumelelo go town planning gore e right and then o ya go social development e tlo mo thuša gore e tlo mo fa dilo ka moka di-requirements tša swantse o di latele and o swanetse gore go na le ntho engwe gape e re e boletseng ka taba ya gore motswadi o lebelela eng motho o swantse o register le department of health o tla register as NPO or private o tlo register le department of health a register le DSD department of social development a register le EMS gore ba lebelele gore o latela di-compliance tša gage go diega go na le mollo bana ba tla ba safe na emergency management services and then o swanetse gore gape le disaster le yona a e dire ke di-department tše dintši tše e le gore di tlhokometse ECD jale o swanetse o diesho and dilo tša gona di-certificate tša gona di be mabotong le batswadi ge ba fitlha ba swantse ba lebelele di-certificate tšeo gore pleke yeoe e right for ngwana
and ge le certificate se fake go na le kgetšhego sa le ba kry ko hillbro ba kry certificate se gona mara batswadi ba kgone go bona re se ke certificate sa mannete se a sa mannete gola motho a na le kgetšhego ko third floor
I think on that one, as a concerned parent, space. You go and check. Look over social development. There's a database where you can go and check. Is it a registered, legit, true, or registered really, or it's just a fake?
So in closing,
bana abaye di-crashing ba ska šala le bo mamkwena ge ba šetse le mamkwena make sure gore mamkwena le yena o na le knowledge ya go lebelela ngwana gore o tlo stimulata ngwana jwale ka ge se a boletse a re le bona ba acknowledgeiwa matšatši as long motswadi wa mamkwena e le gore o tlo kgona go stimulata ngwana gore at least go bonagale di-delays o bona go na le delays tša bana go ja le gore ngwana sometimes o dirile ge e le gore maybe ke tša bo special need tšeo le tsona di a kgona gore di fasenwe gore go di lokišwe mara go na le mo e le gore batho ba modimo ke delay fela ka baka la re ngwana sa stimulating
mara go tla re mamkwena o bile le delay ka nako e se ngwana
jwale o tlo tšhelela
ora re le bogago gore batho ba ke tshepa gore bomme ba bangata ba ithutile dilo tse dingata ka gore go important jwang gore o ise ngwana crutch o se ka mosea le mamokwena alright ngwe ba papatso re ya ko bokone bophirima seshuti ke nako la skiphane la ke sikhuluma ngezinto ezenzakalayo in and around South Africa ra botsa gore ko Northwest go etsagalang ko Limpopo go etsagalang so that to be updated again.
All right, one campaign entire but Ariam Bokoni Buphirima and you've got 3 guests baba special ba to re bolelang kana gore sentle ba reng ga ba bua ka Ariam Bokoni Buphirima and nna le wena mhlomong re tla go Bokoni Buphirima re lo kera eng kana so ke tlo observe protocol right now because it's again gona le government wa tseba re tsamaya protocol so re na le MEC wa tourism gona ko Northwest ka kwa mo Hono le kae mama la mogela all right gona la utheng mo a tsena mo ke mo tshwantse le a utheng o dira advert ya chocolate ara se mulip o great
no ke teng khosa
o mafello obvia bonito
dumela raloka
shapo kaina
modimukio hallelujah
aha
a reng Bokone Bophirima ke eng
maitso o tla lemoga gore Bokone Bophirima ke province e 70% rural mme dilo di diragala ko teng re ne ra re le administration e ntšha ra re tsosolosa yang the brand ya Bokone Bophirima a ke itse gore dilemo tse kae mara ka dinako tsele ba bane ba le teng ba tla go bolelela gore ne re ge go buiwa ka Bokone Bophirima dilo ne di diragala ko teng jaanong ra re batla go tsosolosa mono o wa go netefatsa gore ga o tswa fa e le mafelo a beke o se ka wa ya Limpopo se ka wa nna mo Gauteng fetsa beke mo Gauteng a re yeng Bokone Bophirima go bona tse di diragalang go a diragala ko Bokone Bophirima
solid ra summer pre-party dintsha
go na le sengwe se leng gore se dirilwe ko Bokone Bophirima se Afrika Borwa e le motlotlo ka sone ke mmino wa motswako mongwe wa batho ba e leng gore ba ke ba eteledipele mo mminong wa ke re mojo re mulimi. So I think it makes a lot of sense gore ha di sama di le ko bokoni bophirima jaaka re ya ko bokoni bophirima re set the pace and the tone ya that weekend ka motswako fest, which is basically the pre-party ya di sama e leng gore will be the biggest one. Ke a itse gore gona le ba bangwe ba go iteka ba le mo dikhutlhwaneng tsa bona rona re tla be re bua ka lentswe le legolo la Setswana yaanong e le mmino wa motswako, so that's exactly what we do.
When are the more the ambassadors are arraying Bokoni Bophirima, what are your duties?
I would say that re bana ba Bokoni Bophirima jaanong re gopola gae. So part of our work is not just under say the official box ya gore re di ambassadors tsa Bokoni Bophirima. Re batla go tsosolosa Bokoni Bophirima jaaka legae la rona. So it's an ongoing thing, 24 hours a day. We are trying to brand Bokoni Bophirima. A brand is an experience. So we want people to experience and have a repeated experience, that pleasure.
Mo, obviously, but how ngata ba ya ko Northwest ba ilo chaka maybe ya ko Sun City. Why tshwantsa ke tla ko Northwest ke ko Bokoni Bophirima?
Bokoni Bophirima is Setswana word for Northwest. So the whole province.
Okay, yeah.
And Bokoni Bophirima
I'm going. Sun City Bokoni Bophirima.
Khonali di district di le 4 ko Bokoni Bophirima ke ko Bojanala Dr. Bojanala
joking
Dr. Kenneth Kaunda and Ruth Mumpati le ngaka Modiri Molema in all 4 districts yaka MEC sa tlhalosetsa gore province rona is rural mara ina le bo special by your name in every district. Bojanala like Ibua, it's tourism based, Kiko Sun City linting and so on. That's where we'll be doing our pre-summers and so on and so on. Celebration ke go raba stem gore tota Bokoni Bophirima our biggest export ke human resource. The expertise tse di tswang ko Northwest tse di servang all over the country, all the world. So how do we strengthen more human resource ya rona gore re bolella batho kwa re tswang teng, where are we from? So ya ka stone na tlhalosa motswako is our cultural heritage. It represents batho ba rona ba go Bokoni Bophirima. How bua ka motswako you are associated le batho ba rona ba go Bokoni Bophirima and our music and so on. So in that spirit, how do we want people say ke batla go bona ko batho ba ba tswang teng? Yes. And they are humble beginnings. But in that context, how Bojanala, it's like the Texas of South Africa. How if you are interested in beef and so on, that's where you'll find that heritage and it's part of our culture. So Ronaldo Stoney and others, Botato Mulamu and others, we are here also to always remind people we must always and re-improve the economy.
Why is last thing? One of the famous events, the 60s come here. For all this time. One time le SABC one salary. Ko le tamong. Ko le tamorindem. Yeah. Every time we talk like Northwest Bokoni Bophirima, we see le certain events. But what I go memo hono gore hona le di mhlomo di events nyane tse dintse gabe tse di tlang ka di programs tse di tlang as part of Bokoni Bophirima.
Di dintsi right. O tla gopola gore premier mo speeching sa gago o dirile triangle ya economic growth. You have agriculture, culture and tourism. Those are the pillars tsa Bokoni Bophirima. You will remember Bokoni Bophirima e itsege ka di mine. Mar lifespan ya di mine o ka se rely mo go yona. And o tla itse gore platinum e ba etsa go Bokoni Bophirima ba itlisa go iteng e be ya uerkante e be go ile hela ya e be re tsa grace pe rona batho ba Bokoni Bophirima. Ke ka mo re tlisteng pillar e ntsha e ya tsoseng. Go go ntse go diragalang raiso. Ga ke bua le wena yana go Bokoni Bophirima re ntse re hostile national athletics tsa dikolo. Mo nakong ye sa fediseng pele jaaka di ambassadors di ntse di bua jana go tla di sama. Re le Bokoni Bophirima gape re tla be re tshwere COSAFA Cup 14 countries tla be di le go Bokoni Bophirima re ba amogetse kometseng se tseng gape se re se dirileng re le puso re batla go change the focus ya the economy re dira ka villages, township and small doropis for a start now re batla 60% ya budget e ye ko metseng ya rona re le tourism re promote tourism ko metseng ya rona molemi o bua ka bojanala thata bojanala ga bo ko bojanala fela o simolla ko bophirima jo bo kgakala ko botaung kwa yo o tla itse gore mo Gauteng tse le tshwere skal sa ngwana wa rona wa ko taung re busy ko Buxton ra baakanya re tlisa ngwana rona ra mo tsaya mo go iteng mo re mo isa gae gore a re yeng bokone bophirima le tla go mmona ko bokone bophirima di-tourist di tla go mmona ko bokone bophirima o tsamaye jalo o tswe ko taung o tle ko bo Vryburg go le dintsi agriculturally you see gore go na le bophelo ko ha o ya ko ngaka modiri molema ko bo Mafikeng ngaka modiri molema ke bo Mafikeng bo Lichtenburg ke the Maize Triangle ke gona mo kram midi wa rona o tletse mo o tsamaye o ya ko Dr. Kenneth Kaunda ke ko bo Madlere dipontsho tsa bona di dintsi ko o ya ko Potchefstroom go gontsi bo Art Club you name them di dintsi o bo ya ge ko bojanala batho ba itse bokone bophirima e le Sun City le Pietermaritzburg ba gae go gontsi go ka go bonang le ya ko Durban le re ya ko Howick Falls go na le Howick Falls go bokone bophirima ko Tau go Mau ke le tlapa le tswa metsi o ka se ke be wa nagana gore o mo bokone bophirima o tla nagana gore ko Durban ke mist we took journalists for a week re ba tourists around bokone bophirima has got a rich heritage bontsi ba lona ga le itse gore mo president wa rona wa naga ka nako le ya struggle o na tshwarwa ke mapodisi a kgale ko Mariko.
I think what we need to do if like go simolola ka o batho a re bokone bophirima and experience bokone bophirima re lebogile thank you so much. Nazi-ke inkcukacha esithe vetshe.
Shift, SABC Education and PC Training and Business College are giving away 10 full bursaries worth over 250,000 rand. The bursaries include qualifications in higher education and training, as well as technical and vocational education. For over 25 years, more than 130,000 learners have put their trust in PC Training and Business College to learn the skills to succeed in today's workplace. At PC Training and Business College, students receive most of their study material preloaded on nifty tablet PCs. All campuses have free Wi-Fi. SMS now and make your dream career a reality. This competition is brought to you by PC Training and Business College. Your future is in your hands.
PC Training. How many years has PC Training and Business College been in existence? Is it A, 25? B 15 or C 20? Yazi nifunike enzile mntazikazi athumele SMS igama lesename yakho and then the answer yakho to 33720.
Alright, le fela jalo nano la rala ka tsheko tshepa re thutile tse dingata na but a rone ge o tsentsa maisa tlo go no first again.
Re tla go wena bophirima, re tla go bona bophirima.
Okay, alright.
O ne bona hantle. Yeah, o sa re gona le Sun City le go bophirima.
Okay, ke 21.
Alright, Mandabasika, next on Shift is complicated. Uzayibona ba into nale complicated. Otherwise anithanda nonke emakhaya baba yin sharp.